In a quaint village nestled between two lush hills, there lived a woman named Mara. With a heart as big as the sky and an unwavering sense of duty, Mara was cherished by everyone around her. There wasn't a soul in the village who didn't rely on her warmth, her kindness, and her willingness to lend a helping hand. She thrived on the love that seemed to bloom from the gratitude of others, convinced that being needed was the essence of love itself. Little did she know, her suffocating sense of obligation was quietly eroding her true self. Mara lived in a modest cottage where the scent of wildflowers danced through open windows, and a small, sweet garden lay untended in the backyard. She shared her life with Edric, a gentle and kind-hearted man. Their love had once sparked joy, but as times grew tough and work became scarce, Edric often fell into his own silence, the glow of their connection dulled by the weight of unspoken fears. He had become a shadow of himself, and Mara's heart ached, but she told herself that love was about weathering storms together. Each time Edric withdrew, she filled the void with acts of kindness, offering her strength to neighbors and friends. Mara's closest friend Sella had always been her confidant, the counterpart who brought laughter into her life. But as life threw its challenges at Sella, she increasingly leaned on Mara like a crutch when times were hard. Each visit left Sella lighter, floating away liberated from her burdens, while Mara found herself weighed down, her spirit fragmented by shared sorrow that was never reciprocated. Then there was Doran, a young boy who had never known his father and spent lonely days under the care of his hard-working mother. Full of youthful energy misdirected into trouble, Doran found solace in Mara's nurturing presence. She taught him patience in her garden, listened to his dreams unabashedly, and hoped her guidance could nurture him into becoming a strong young man. With every pot of soup she slid his way and each piece of advice she offered like a loving embrace, Mara felt cherished, believing she was cultivating a bond that would future-proof their understanding of love. The seasons rolled on with predictable rhythm until one dreary autumn when Mara fell ill. It was a minor ailment, a mere bump on her life's road, but enough to keep her bedridden for 2 long weeks. With her world turned upside down, she awaited help from the very people she had nourished for years. She requested nothing, trusting those she had cared for would care for her in return. But as the days wore on, her requests were met with silence. Edric managed the house, but the jarring truth lingered in the air: his silent actions didn't stem from love but duty. He gingerly conveyed the force of nurturing was meant to be hers, not his. On the 3rd day, Sella came by, bringing a small cake. The sugar-laden gift felt hollow as Sella spent the visit reciting everything that was wrong in her life. Before leaving, Sella squeezed Mara's hand with the expectation that love could be manufactured through smiles and pat words. And then she was gone. Doran didn't arrive at all. He had been a constant in her life, and yet, in her moment of vulnerability, he disappeared. As Mara lay there staring at the wooden ceiling overhead, something within her settled like the quiet stillness of a lake before winter. The reflections she caught on the surface urged her to confront a fierce truth she had long evaded. Was she loved, or merely useful? Each neighbor and friend bore all their difficulties to her door, expecting her to shine light in their darkness, but never once pausing to see if she carried her own shadows. As her health slowly improved, a sense of revelation washed over Mara. A harsh realization: love cannot grow from need. It must flourish in the space where one's own being is recognized, cherished, and desired beyond utility. She resolved that the next time she stood at her door about to pour her soul into helping others, she would offer help with intention, not obligation. When Mara got out of bed on the 14th day, she stepped into her neglected garden, with weeds choking the vibrant potential beneath. It didn't matter how long it had been. As she knelt to clean the ground, the act felt liberating. She removed the clinging vines like the false expectations, the neediness that fulfilled her life without purpose, and planted new seeds in that fresh soil, seeds of self-care, boundaries, and genuine love. As the days turned to weeks, Mara's transformation blossomed into newfound vitality. Sella arrived once more, cloaked in her familiar storm of problems. But this time, as Mara poured the tea into 2 cups, she spoke first, telling Sella what had been heavy on her heart. A conversation bloomed between them, not as rescuer and rescued but as equals sharing their lives. Mara felt lighter, her burdens shared rather than piled. Edric also noticed her shift. The silence carved between them began to dissolve as he opened up, offering real questions that invited Mara back into their shared life. He asked her how she felt, what she wanted, and while he stumbled along the way, it ignited sparks of their old bond, an understanding that was both profound and liberating. Months later, Doran reappeared at her doorstep, transformed in demeanor, quieter and more resolute. With no hands full, he stood there, ready for a conversation he would have once avoided. As Mara welcomed him inside with open arms, she steadied him with words of clarity rather than a silent torrent of giving. "You're becoming a man now, Doran. The best relationships are union-based. You must bring as much as you take. I need you to show up when it matters." And with that, her kind words planted seeds that would help Doran grow, just as she cultivated herself. Mara didn't turn cold in her kindness. She became more selectively generous and extra aware of the relationships blossoming around her. The villagers stepped back into her life, those who truly loved her rather than merely needing her, became apparent. It didn't take long before Mara witnessed true vulnerability shared in the simplest acts. A neighbor bringing her soup on a rainy day, Doran helping to weed her garden, Sella sitting comfortably beside her without needing to fill every silence with her turmoil. Joy rekindled in her spirit, filling her heart with a new kind of warmth, the type that involved being seen, being wanted, and being valued as a whole person, not just for what she offered. In that peaceful reawakening, she began to erect possibilities built on genuine love and connection. Mara uncovered the truth that real love is invisible to the needy unless it also acknowledges the tender whole of her being. The faint radiance of this truth unfolded into her relationships, strengthening them into healthy and supportive bonds. And so, Mara's tale became a tender reminder. Being needed can feel like love, but real love calls for balance, respect, and acknowledgement of oneself and each other. With her garden thriving and blossoming anew, she understood the value of planting those seeds of love in her own life first, cultivating her plentiful garden of giving from a full heart.